Most men believe waking up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom is just an unavoidable price of getting older. A nuisance, perhaps. But what if I told you that for many men over 60, those nightly interruptions are not just about an aging bladder? What if they are a quiet, urgent message from your heart, a sign of a hidden hormonal shift, or a warning about a lifestyle habit you thought was harmless? A 72-year-old patient, a proud grandfather and retired engineer named Arthur, once sat in my office, his shoulders slumped. He told me, "Dr. Carter, I can handle the aches and pains. What I can't handle is never, ever getting a full night's sleep. I feel like a ghost in my own life." He thought the problem was his prostate and only his prostate. What he didn't realize was that his body was sending him a much more profound signal, one that, once understood, would not only give him back his sleep, but potentially add years to his life. I'm Dr. Benjamin Carter. For over 20 years as a urologist and men's health specialist, I've dedicated my career to helping men navigate the complex and often misunderstood territory of their health after 60. And today, we are going to pull back the curtain on one of the most common complaints I hear: nocturia, the medical term for waking up at night to urinate. We're going to dismantle the myth that this is just a simple plumbing issue. The truth is, for millions of men, the real cause is something they've never been told about, a silent process that connects their bladder to their cardiovascular system and their daily habits in ways that are absolutely critical to understand. Most men blame their prostate, drink less water, and resign themselves to a life of broken sleep. But this approach is not only ineffective, it's dangerous because it ignores the real message. I'm going to reveal the three most common, yet overlooked, culprits behind those nighttime awakenings that have almost nothing to do with how much you drink before bed. And I need you to stay with me until the very end, because I will share a surprisingly simple 5-minute evening ritual, a secret weapon, really, that can dramatically cut down your nightly bathroom trips. It's a technique that addresses a core physiological cause of nocturia, yet it's something most doctors never think to mention. If you're ready to stop being a prisoner to your bladder and finally understand the language of your own body, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell. Your journey to better nights and more energetic days starts right now. And let me know in the comments below, does the idea of fragmented sleep impacting your overall health resonate with you? Just type yes to let me know I'm on the right track. Your feedback is invaluable. Now let's begin by addressing the suspect that's always first in the lineup, the prostate. It's true that for many men, this small, walnut-sized gland sitting at the base of the bladder is part of the story. As men age, a condition called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, is incredibly common. Think of your urethra, the tube that carries urine out of your body, as a garden hose running through the center of a donut. As BPH develops that donut, your prostate slowly grows larger. It begins to squeeze the hose. This pressure creates a dual problem. First, it can make it difficult to start urinating. But more importantly for our discussion on nocturia, it prevents you from fully emptying your bladder. Imagine trying to empty a water bottle by only squeezing it halfway. There's always some left over. Throughout the day, this might just mean you have to go again a little sooner. But at night, that residual urine means your bladder fills up to its "I have to go now" capacity much, much faster. I remember my patient Robert, a 67-year-old retired history teacher. He was a man who loved to read, but he told me he couldn't even get through a chapter in the evening without feeling that urgent, nagging pressure. His world had begun to shrink. He avoided long car rides, he was anxious at movies, and he dreaded going to bed. "It's the prostate, isn't it?" he said, with a sense of resignation. "I guess it's time to talk about surgery." He felt a deep sense of betrayal by his own body, a loss of freedom that was far more painful than the physical discomfort. For Robert, the enlarged prostate was indeed a contributing factor. The constant, low-level tension of an obstructed bladder was a source of chronic irritation. But as we dug deeper, we discovered it was only one piece of a much larger puzzle. Focusing only on the prostate would have been like trying to fix a flooded basement by only plugging one small leak, while ignoring the torrential rain outside. The real storm, for him and for so many men, was coming from a place he never expected. This brings us to the first major secret about nocturia, a concept that is a game changer for most of my patients. the hidden role of your heart and circulation. Throughout your day, as you stand and walk, gravity is constantly at work. It pulls fluid downwards, and for many men over 60, especially those whose cardiovascular systems aren't as robust as they used to be, this fluid can begin to pool in the lower legs and ankles. This is called peripheral edema. You might notice your socks leaving a deeper indent at the end of the day or a slight puffiness around your ankles. Most men dismiss this as a minor annoyance, a simple sign of getting older. But it is a profoundly important clue. Think of that pooled fluid in your legs as a reservoir. It sits there all day outside of your main circulation. Then what happens when you go to bed? You lie down. You elevate your legs to the same level as your heart. Gravity's pull is neutralized. That reservoir of fluid, which could be a liter or more, suddenly floods back into your bloodstream. Your kidneys, which are your body's master filtration system, sense this massive influx of fluid and they get to work. They filter it out of your blood and turn it into urine, sending it directly to your bladder. Your bladder, which was perhaps only half full when you went to sleep, is now being rapidly filled by this redistributed fluid. And so, at 1, 2, or 3 in the morning, the alarm bell goes off. You wake up, stumble to the bathroom, and wonder why this keeps happening. You blame your bladder, but the real culprit was the fluid that spent the day in your legs. This was the key for Arthur, the 72-year-old grandfather who felt like a ghost. He loved being in his garden, but he noticed that by evening his ankles were always swollen. He never connected it to his sleep. When I explained this fluid shift, it was like a light bulb went on. His nocturia wasn't just a urological problem, it was a cardiovascular signal. His body was telling him that his circulation needed support. This realization was incredibly empowering for him. It moved the problem from one of shame and helplessness, my body is failing me, to one of proactive understanding. My body is communicating with me. It transformed his perspective from seeing his body as an adversary to seeing it as a partner in his own health. This link is so critical because it reframes nocturia from a mere inconvenience to a potential early warning sign for heart health that deserves attention. So, how do we address this? The solution isn't about complex cardiac procedures. It's about simple, profound lifestyle adjustments that support your circulation. The first and most powerful action is movement. A brisk 20 to 30-minute walk in the late afternoon can work wonders. This muscular contraction in your legs acts like a second heart, helping to pump that fluid back up into circulation long before you lie down for the night. The second tool is strategic elevation. An hour or two before you plan to go to sleep, sit down and elevate your legs on a stool or ottoman, ideally above the level of your heart. This gives that fluid a head start on its journey back into your system, allowing your kidneys to process it while you're still awake. Finally, for men with more significant swelling, compression stockings worn during the day can be transformative. They provide gentle, continuous pressure that prevents the fluid from pooling in the first place. These aren't just tips for better sleep. They are acts of self-care for your entire cardiovascular system. Now, even with a healthy prostate and good circulation, there's another powerful, invisible force at play, a silent director of your nightly rhythm, your hormones. Our bodies are governed by intricate clocks, known as circadian rhythms. One of the most brilliant parts of this internal clock is the nighttime release of a hormone called vasopressin, also known as antidiuretic hormone, or ADH. As the sun goes down and your body prepares for sleep, your brain releases vasopressin. Its job is to tell your kidneys to slow down, to produce significantly less urine so that you can sleep for a long, uninterrupted stretch. It's the body's natural do not disturb sign for your bladder. Here's the challenge. As we age, our bodies naturally produce less vasopressin at night. The signal from the brain to the kidneys becomes weaker, more like a whisper than a command. Without that strong hormonal break, the kidneys can continue to produce urine at a daytime rate all through the night. You could have a perfectly healthy prostate and excellent circulation, but if your hormonal off switch isn't working effectively, your bladder will inevitably fill up and wake you. This was a major factor for another patient of mine, a 65-year-old man named David who was meticulous about his health. He exercised, ate well, had no prostate issues, and still, he was up 2 or 3 times a night. He was deeply frustrated because he felt he was doing everything right. The problem wasn't his discipline, it was his biochemistry. The age-related decline in nocturnal vasopressin production is a physiological reality for many men. It's not a sign of failure or disease, but simply a shift in the body's internal chemistry. Understanding this can bring a great sense of relief. It removes the element of self-blame. You're not doing anything wrong. Your body is simply operating under a different set of hormonal rules than it did when you were 30. So, what can be done? While we can't easily force our brains to produce more vasopressin, we can powerfully support and regulate our overall circadian rhythm, which in turn helps optimize all our hormonal cycles. The most important step is to establish a rock-solid, consistent sleep-wake cycle. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every single day, yes, even on weekends, is the single most effective way to anchor your body's internal clock. The second step is to manage your light exposure. Get at least 15 to 20 minutes of direct morning sunlight as soon as you can after waking. This blast of natural light powerfully signals to your brain that the day has begun, setting your 24-hour clock in motion. Conversely, it is absolutely critical to minimize your exposure to bright, artificial blue light in the 2 to 3 hours before bed. This means dimming the lights in your home, and most importantly, putting away the phone, the tablet, and turning off the television. The blue light emitted by these screens directly suppresses the production of melatonin, your primary sleep hormone, and disrupts the entire cascade of nighttime hormonal events, including the release of vasopressin. Creating a dark, cool, and quiet sleep sanctuary isn't just a luxury. It's a way to send a clear, unambiguous signal to your brain that it's time to activate its nighttime protocols. Finally, we arrive at the factors that are most directly under our control, yet often the most misunderstood: the lifestyle traps of eating and drinking. Most men with nocturia instinctively know to stop drinking water right before bed. But they are often mystified when they still wake up, despite having an empty glass on their nightstand. The secret is that it's not just about the water you drink. It's about the water hidden in your food and the substances that act as diuretics, forcing your kidneys into overdrive. Salt is a primary offender. A dinner high in sodium, think processed foods, soups, frozen meals, or restaurant fare, acts like a sponge in your body. You consume the salt, your body retains water to dilute it, and then, hours later, as your system finally works to excrete that excess sodium, it pulls all that water with it, right into your bladder. That seemingly dry meal at 7 p.m. is responsible for your full bladder at 2 a.m. Sugar, and refined carbohydrates can have a similar, albeit less potent, effect. Then there are the more obvious diuretics. Alcohol is a big one. While a glass of wine or a beer might make you feel sleepy initially, it actively suppresses vasopressin release. This means your kidneys run wide open. It's why you often have to use the bathroom multiple times after drinking and before you even fall asleep. Caffeine is another well-known diuretic, and its effects can last for 6 to 8 hours in some people. That 3 p.m. cup of coffee could very well be the reason you're waking up at midnight. The solution here is about timing and awareness, not deprivation. I call it the evening taper. Begin by having your last big meal of the day at least 3 to 4 hours before you plan to go to sleep. This gives your body ample time to process the food and the associated fluids. Be particularly mindful of the sodium content of your dinner. Cooking at home gives you control. Then, begin to taper your fluid intake. This doesn't mean dehydrating yourself. In fact, it's crucial to drink plenty of water throughout the first 2/3 of the day. Dehydration can lead to more concentrated, irritating urine that can actually make your bladder more spastic. The key is to get the majority of your hydration in early, and then significantly slow down in the 2 to 3 hours before bed. A few small sips if you're thirsty or need to take medication is fine, but avoid guzzling a large glass of water. This simple, conscious tapering allows you to go to bed hydrated, but with a relatively empty and calm bladder. By addressing these hidden culprits, by supporting your circulation, honoring your hormonal rhythms, and making mindful choices about your evening routine, you are doing so much more than just managing a symptom. You are engaging in a profound act of holistic self-care. Imagine the cascading benefits of reclaiming your sleep. You wake up not with a sense of groggy resentment, but with a feeling of restoration. Your mind is clearer. Your mood is more stable, your physical energy is higher, You have more patience for your partner, more enthusiasm for your grandchildren, more focus for your hobbies. The risk of falls in the dark is eliminated. Your immune system, which does its most critical repair work during deep sleep, functions more effectively. This is not about winning a battle against your bladder. It's about restoring a fundamental pillar of your health, and in doing so, reclaiming the vitality and joy in your waking life. You are not just fixing a nighttime problem. You are building a better tomorrow every single night. You are making a powerful statement that you deserve to feel good, to feel strong, and to feel whole at any age. And now for the final piece of the puzzle. The promise I made at the beginning. A simple, powerful 5-minute ritual that directly counteracts the fluid shift we talked about earlier, the one that sends a reservoir of water from your legs to your bladder in the middle of the night. It requires no special equipment, and it is profoundly calming for your nervous system, a perfect transition into a restful sleep. Here it is. About 15 to 30 minutes before you get into bed, find a clear space of wall. Lie on your back on the floor and swing your legs up so they are resting straight up against the wall. Your body should be in an L shape. You can place a small pillow under your head for comfort, and then you simply rest there. Breathe slowly and deeply for 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. This simple posture, often called legs up the wall in yoga, uses gravity to your immense advantage. It actively drains that pooled, sequestered fluid from your ankles and lower legs, sending it back into your circulation before you get into bed. Your kidneys will have a chance to process this fluid and send it to your bladder while you are still awake, and can easily empty it one last time before you turn out the lights. It's a preemptive strike against nocturia. It's simple, it feels good, and for many of my patients, it has been the single most impactful change they have made. You have listened, you have learned, and now you are empowered. The narrative that being old means being tired and broken is a myth. The truth is that your body is always communicating with you, and learning its language is the key to aging with strength and dignity. Those nightly trips to the bathroom are not a life sentence. They are a request for support. A request for a walk in the afternoon, for dimmer lights in the evening, for a little less salt at dinner, for a few minutes with your feet up the wall. If this conversation has opened your eyes to a new way of understanding your body, please share this video with a friend, a brother, a partner, any man in your life who is needlessly suffering in silence. Let's break the quiet resignation that surrounds men's health. Your health journey is your own, but it doesn't have to be a lonely one. Don't forget to subscribe, because my mission is to continue providing you with this kind of doctor-backed, compassionate advice that empowers you to take control. Leave a comment below. Let me know which of these insights surprised you the most, or ask a question you've been hesitant to ask. I read everyone, and I am here to support you. You have taken a vital step today towards reclaiming your nights, and by extension, your life. You deserve deep, restorative sleep. You deserve to wake up feeling powerful. And you absolutely have the ability to make that your reality, starting tonight.